Hi guys, welcome to Proud Africans of America. I hope you guys are having a good one wherever you are. Thanks for tuning in to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about African Americans and our disdain towards anything African. Why do we have a disdain towards the term African? Why do we have a disdain towards the African continent? What is it about Africa that we don't like? Well, it's not a question of what it is about the continent. It's a question of what we've been taught about the continent. It's a question of what we've been told about where we're from, you know? And we've been fed a negative narrative. We've been fed a narrative that is very stigmatic, and that stigma is still attached to our people. That narrative is still attached to our land. So my platform is designed to counter those narratives. My platform is designed to give us a different perspective of who we are, give us a different perspective of our land, so we can have a better outlook on who we are as a people. Because we can't afford to have this mindset about who we are and where we're from anymore. You know, it has to be reversed, and nobody's going to reverse it but us. Nobody's going to reverse it but us. You know, and we have to see the inconsistencies and change it. You know, and this is where the leaders come in. You know, some people are not going to be leaders. Most people are just sheep, right? And that's a lot of Africans in America. I call us Africans in America because that's what we are. We're Africans in America for the most part. But we latch on to any other term in order to denote Africa, you know? We latch on to American. We'll latch on to whatever race that we may be supposedly mixed with, you know what I mean? But it's only to get away from our roots. It's only to get away from who we truly are. And we know who we truly are. We just don't embrace it. We just don't accept it. Now, why is it that we don't accept it? Why is it that we're not proud to be African? Why is it that we're not proud to be who we are? Why don't we love the blood that is flowing through our veins? Why don't we love our culture? Why is it something to be ashamed of to us? Well, if you want to own somebody, you got to make them hate themselves. And that's what they did, and that's what they've done. And that narrative is still perpetuated in today's society till today. You know why? Because they really didn't want to let us free. You know, they really didn't want to let us, because if they did, we would have had the proper treatment. We would have had therapy, you know, for the brainwashing that has been put upon our people, and we would have gotten reparations. But we don't have reparations, and we don't have the therapy, you know. But I'm not going to sit around and beg and complain about that. I'm going to try to do what I can as an individual, as a leader, to reverse those psychiatric dogmas, so to speak, you know. And I reversed it in myself. If I can reverse it within myself, then other people can reverse it within themselves. You know, it depends on whether or not you choose to do so. It depends on whether or not you're willing. You know, it depends on whether or not you have that spark within your heart. You have that spark within your brain to get there. A lot of us don't have that spark within ourselves. A lot of us don't have that spark within our brain. We don't have the spark of curiosity to learn our culture. We don't have the spark of curiosity to learn our history. You know, because we, like I said, we look at it in a negative light. So of course we're not going to want to look towards it. Of course we're not going to want to learn about it, you know, because there's a negative stigma attached to it. So we're going to do everything but look towards it. We're going to look away from it. And that's what we're seeing with a lot of us here today. Just looking away from our truth, from ourselves, you know. And if we look away from ourselves, then other people will look away from us too. If we don't respect ourselves, other people will disrespect us too. And that's what we're seeing. So we have to get self-respect. We have to respect ourselves in order to get respect. And it starts with having a pride of who you are. It starts with having a pride in how you look. It starts with having a pride in your skin. It starts with having a pride in your hair, the color of your eyes, you know. It starts with loving your culture. It starts with understanding your culture. having a positive outlook on your culture, having a positive outlook on your belief systems, all of these things right here. This is necessary for us to gain a sense of pride, a sense of self-respect, you know? And you got to understand that a lot of people are going to come against this. People are coming against me already on my Instagram. If you go to my Instagram, p.a.oa_, you will see under lots of my videos, there's a lot of pushback. There's a lot of backlash. And most of that backlash is coming from people of other races. That backlash is not even coming from our own. The most backlash I get from my own people is just others who are confused. You know, people who are self-hating, but they're no real problem. The real problem a lot of the time is the bigots. The real problem is those non-African people who spread hate towards us. Those are the real issues, you know, that I've come across in my Instagram posts on Proud Africans of America, you know. So we got to look forward to more of that backlash. We got to look forward to more of that hate, you know, when we try to establish ourselves as prideful Africans. You know why? Because they're going to have to start respecting us. They're going to have to start treating us with some sort of dignity, you know, and they don't want to do that because they want to continue to be able to manipulate us. They want to continue to be able to take advantage of us and our people. They want to continue to have us downtrodden. They want us to continue to think that it's okay to be on the lowest level of society. They want us to think that it's okay to be on the lowest level of respect, you know? And they want us to be meek. They want us to be kind. They want us to have a positive attitude about being oppressed and poor, you know? A positive attitude about being brutalized, a positive attitude about being mistreated, being abused. You got to be kidding me. And this is the main reason they don't want us to be prideful of ourselves. Because if we're really prideful of ourselves, then that will propel us to rise up. That will compel us to do something for ourselves. That will compel us to have some sort of self-respect, to where other people cannot tell us, other people can't just do anything to us and we don't do anything back. This is the reason why they made us hate ourselves. This is the reason why they had to tell us these things about ourselves and make us love them, make us want to attach ourselves to America, make us want to attach ourselves to anything but ourselves. You know? Let's be prideful. And yeah, like I said, the more prideful we become, the more hate we will receive. The more prideful we become, the more hate we will receive. So get ready for it. Anticipate it, because it's coming. See, but the thing with the leaders, we can't be discouraged. The thing with the leaders is that we cannot stop. We have to have a warrior attitude, you know? We have to have an attitude like we're ready to fight. We're ready for war. Just the same way a gangbanger is ready to fight for his set. Bang for Africa. Bang for Africa. And that's what I do. That's what I'm doing. It's red, black, and green. That's the flag I bang. Red for the blood, black for the skin, green for the land that was stolen. You know, and a lot of our people were actually sent over here to the Americas because we were fighting on the continent. You know, our ancestors were fighting on the continent to retain their land, to keep their land from the Europeans. And that's the reason a lot of those kings were killed and exiled over here. Yep. That's the reason a lot of those kings were killed and exiled over here. They had to get rid of them because they were short-stopping the profit. They were short-stopping the plan. You know, we didn't allow it to just go on. And we're not allowing them to do what they're doing to us right now. We're still speaking out. We're still praying. We still remember our ancestors. We remember what they did. We remember how they fought. We remember how they died. They didn't die in vain. And the brothers and sisters who are dying in vain in America to this day, I mean, the brothers and sisters who are dying in America today are not dying in vain. They're dying for a cause. But we have to make sure that we continue to pray. We have to make sure that we continue to to protest for our people, to make sure that they know our people didn't die in vain. You know, brothers and sisters who were unjustly killed, brothers and sisters who were wrongly murdered and brutalized by the police, we can't allow them to think that those deaths are in vain. Those deaths are not in vain. Those deaths were for our progression. So we protest to make a better existence for ourselves, to make a better environment for ourselves. Like I said, nobody's going to do it for us. Like I said, we can try to beg politicians all we want, but nobody's going to do it. And you know, this video is kind of going all over the place. It's kind of going off topic because I understand the mindsets of my people. I understand that we're brainwashed. I understand that we have a mental illness called self-hate. And I understand that it's not our fault. And I understand that those people are going to be who they are. Some people may change. A majority of them are going to stay the same. And a majority of them are not going to see freedom. They're not going to see freedom because they chose to hate themselves. They chose to continue to be naive. They chose not to be woke. They chose not to go to the light. You know, they chose to be in cahoots with the white supremacists. They chose to be in cahoots with those who oppressed them. They chose to be in cahoots with the colonial powers, you know? And a lot of these people who don't want to prepare, a lot of these people who don't want to do anything for their people, a lot of these people who don't have a purpose for themselves and their people, they're not going to see the light of day when this shit goes down, because it's going to go down. And when it goes down, the revolutionaries are not going to be the ones who are targeted. The revolutionaries are not going to be the ones who are first targeted. The ones who will be targeted first are the ones who are naive. The ones who will be targeted first are the ones who don't stand up, don't speak out, don't rise up. I'm telling you, this is how it has always been. Do your research. Do your research on the different massacres. Do your research on the Tulsa race riot, so-called race riot, which is really a massacre. That's just a way to try to dumb it down and water it down, you know, so they can tell us what it wasn't. But we know what it is. Our people know what it is. Look up the Opelousas massacre. There's hundreds of massacres that have happened in this country after slavery, because our people flourished, because our people began to mobilize and help themselves and do for themselves. They didn't want them to do for themselves. They got jealous. They got jealous. Because how is it that these people are doing better than us and they're supposed to be below us? How is it that these people are doing better than us and we are better than them? We are superior than them. Why are they doing better than us? So that jealousy, that bigotry, that bitterness, that hatred, that all comes out, and it's gonna come out somewhere. And these people are cowards, so they're not going to fight the people who fight. They're going to fight the people who are weak. Women, children. That's who they come after.